Welcome back to another episode of jewelry repair using the micro welder. I hope you enjoy this. Today we're going to repair my friend's necklace, which is very long, loops of sterling silver, like this. It's beautiful. And then she has a bunch of these links. I don't know what happened. They're obviously cut because I can see the cut marks. Perhaps she had been trying to make the necklace shorter, get enough to make a bracelet. However, she's aborted mission and would like this to be welded back together in the original pattern. So we're going to try and get this done. I'm going to film the process. To start off with, I want to show you these links. It's been cut like this, and whoever cut it obviously did not use flush cutters, and they've come to a point like this. It's really going to be hard to have enough of a surface area to weld nicely without a giant blowout. So we're going to cut this. Now, what you can do in case like this, you see this bit? That's a cut mark. What you want are flush cutters, and we want to cut on one side and then cut ever so little bit on the other. Now you see that the two sides are flush and they meet very nicely, and it's going to be a breeze to weld. If you do not have flush cutters, you're going to need filing, and you want to file so that both are done and they meet nicely, and that way it's not as noticeable. The other thing is, had this been really very fine and there's not enough room, what I would do would be on either side, I would ball it so as to make, so instead of this, I'd ball it and then I would weld together this part and then file it down or dampen it to make sure that it's strong. Okay, next I'm going to do that with all the cut links and make sure that they meet nicely. Okay, so a lot of people cut a lot and very deep cuts. You don't want to do that because it's going to warp the shape. We want to preserve the original look. So here, actually, I didn't do a good job of it. You'll see that when I cut it, there is, because of the angle, this side is this way and this side is this way, there's a V shape. You don't want that. And I'm going to adjust it slightly until I'm happy with it and meets nicely. So sometimes I really want to jump into welding immediately, but you have to take your time and do that. Okay, so the other thing is, I've checked all the other links to make sure that there are no open ones, and then I put them down and look at the pattern. I'm seeing the pattern: large, large, small, a few smalls, and a large one. So this should be small, large. This may be here and here. So now I think I've got the pattern. Let's go weld. Okay, I've set it up at an angle so that you don't see my reflection as much, and I hope it's clear. As well, I've tilted my impulse so that you can see the screen a little bit better. But if you can't see, I've got it set at 8 watts. This is probably 20 gauge, perhaps 18 gauge. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try it at 8, but really I think just offhand it might need 10. But we're going to try. I like to try at low wattage first and then see how we do. Here. Let me see. You see that? So because this is flat, really I can weld it here, but I also want to weld it this way because this is going to be thicker down this way. Either way, if you find that if it's round and you're more comfortable, what you want to do is to have tack weld and go on different sides and then check your work. So I'm going to do this. And by the way, I made a rookie mistake of having very high wattage using my hands to hold. Let me see. Okay, I think I need higher. I'm going to put it to higher. I'm finding that, let me see if you can see this. When I'm holding it here, it's far away and it's kind of wiggly. So although I wanted to give you a good close-up look, it is much easier for me to be up close like this. Now, my hands might be in the way, but let's see if we can get you a good look at this. I'm holding here. This is what it looks like. I'm not using argon gas, and I should, but not everyone has it, and I want you to see what it looks like without. And having argon gas actually would just make it less oxidized looking, less oxidation, and slightly cleaner. So I've done this, and I'm going to weld, tack weld in other areas. Easier for the second one because it's already in place. And don't worry. See, my hands were shaky and it's slightly mismatched. Like, don't worry, because look, with these, because it's already flattened, you do this. Flattened. Okay, but I'm going to weld all the way around before I continue on. Okay, here's the result. Here's a closer look. Pretty good. And if it is the case that somehow there's a bald up here, what you can do, is a slight hack, is I tap this way. Since this is flat, and I tap this way. If it was round, I would do this. Tap, 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 all the way around, and it becomes a tube as I rotate the wire. Here's a hack. My friend gave me this. What you do is, if it's oxidized or it's somewhat scuffed up and you're not liking the way it looks, but you don't, it's too thin for you to really file down a whole lot, what you do is you do this. This is a rougher side. Roughed. There we go. And if it is the case that it's really, really bumpy, you would use a metal file. I'm going to do that last because I want to weld everything together first and then see if I can notice the marks. I think it's pretty good. Okay, here's another piece. I'm going to do this. Hold on to it. And I'm going to hold this farther back. I think it's fine. Having pliers holding it far back is not as comfortable. Oops. The other thing is, sometimes you get these black marks in silver because of grease and whatnot, and you don't want to polish it too much. It can be removed with soap, the oxidation, and usually with a shower or two, it becomes very clean. So, good thing is, it's all hammered anyway. By the way, check to make sure that you're not just doing one at a time, that you actually link towards the end. And I made a mistake of not linking the last one I did onto a chain, so I might end up having to cut it open again. But here I've got 2 sections plus an open link, so I'm going to weld this now. And to make sure that they touch, I've moved back and forth so that eventually it meets in the middle. And I push a little bit further in, and when I draw it back, the tension keeps it closed and I don't have to push while I am trying to weld and be steady. So I'm moving it back and forth until it's perfect and I don't have to stress while I am welding. And I think 10 watts was too much. I don't need that much. I'm going to use 9. Okay, so that is done. Actually, this is really good for cleaning. Okay, so this is what it looks like. There's a slight ball. And then I'm just going to flatten it out. Tap. And then like an eraser. Okay. So yeah, I wish I had kept one of them open. I'm going to do that now and connect these. So in fact, where did I weld? I can't even see. I'm going to cut it. And oops. Here, I'm going to weld this. Hey, if you're enjoying this, give me a thumbs up now and subscribe so you don't miss my upcoming projects. So here is the finished product. All these links are together into a long necklace that can be worn twice around. I hope you enjoyed that. Stones and Findings is a wholesaler of premium quality chains and findings. I'm going to leave more information below about our company and what you have seen in this video.